Hi, Ashley. Look, thanks very much, first of all, for taking part in the Business Spotlight series. I'm going to hand over to you, first of all, just to introduce yourself, your company, and tell us a bit about what you do.
Hi, Ed. Thanks for having us. My name's Ashley Osborne. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Val Global. And what Val Global is it's a first of its kind prop tech platform that's really designed to help investors primarily make far better investment decisions. And what it does is it provides investors with real-time market research, a series of sophisticated yet intuitive financial tools to allow them to determine what is the net return after tax from any real estate investment and actually compare different returns from properties all over the world. And then finally, we sell a series of properties in the new build space from Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, where we sell them via our dynamic pricing algorithm, which essentially creates an economy of scale for both investors and developers. And what it does is it aggregates investors together to create a discount of somewhere between 7.5% and 15%, we say, over and above what might be the retail price of an investor of the property.
Excellent. That sounds really useful and interesting. And how long have you done it for?
We've been coding our platform for about 2.5 years. So we started just about the time of COVID, actually. So January 2020. We've been coding for about 2 years, 10 months, and we're just now out into the market promoting our platform, principally in Singapore and Hong Kong.
Oh, excellent. And has there been any impact of COVID for you in the business? Obviously, you mentioned you've been coding it during COVID.
Yeah, there has been. I think the thing about COVID is it's like anything. When you own a business, there's challenges that come up, and COVID has obviously been a large one. I think from my perspective, COVID was both negative and positive. From a negative perspective, obviously the world changed very quickly. It meant that it was very difficult for us to travel. We are an international business by nature of what we do. And the vast majority of our staff are actually outside of the UK in places like Auckland, in Delhi, in Singapore, and places like that. So it meant that our business world changed very quickly from where we're used to traveling and going to see people to having to do a huge amount over Zoom and Teams and those sorts of things. So there was definitely a need to adapt in terms of the way that we worked. And that can be very complicated when you're building big, complex products, because it's much easier to be sitting in the same room as somebody. But on the positive side, I think the thing that COVID has really helped with, it's very much changed the way that people are willing to look at the role of technology with different transactions and the way that they would use technology in their day-to-day lives. So the thing that's really helped us is that market that we work within has gone from being somewhere where it involved developers traveling to the other side of the world, taking a whole bunch of promotional materials and hiring hotel rooms and promoting projects for weeks on end. Whereas now most developers are very, very open to actually trying to have a much bigger digital footprint, because not only does it make it much more straightforward, but it also, from an ESG perspective, really helps what they're trying to achieve. So it's been, I would say a tale of both negative and positive.
And so have there been any actions that you had to take in terms of the way you worked, during COVID and now?
I think the biggest thing that COVID had from our perspective was that it meant that we had, by default, more time to focus on our platform, because essentially we didn't want to launch a project not knowing what the economic or travel situation might be. So it meant that we probably went far beyond what would be a traditional MVP, they call it in the tech world, so minimum viable product. So we're further beyond that now with the product that we're releasing. But I think from everybody's perspective, it means that we're delivering a far better product, a more robust product. And so we literally just had to change the way that we looked at it, I think. We would have liked to have gone to market earlier.
But yeah, you're seeing the positives in it with this, which is great. Okay, and what would you say the future looks like for you, and what would you say is the main challenges moving forwards?
I think the biggest challenges we've had really as business owners been that the learning curve is very steep in the tech space. So, we don't come from the tech background. We are, real estate professionals by trade. And so trying to understand that product and that space has been very complex. In terms of the future, I think we see the future as being very, very positive. So far, in the very short period of time that we've had our product in market, it's already won quite a major award as Global Property Investment Platform of the Year with the Global Awards, which is a corporate livewire award. And I think the thing that's really interesting for us is people seem very, very open to some of the concepts we've got, because essentially we create value for everybody in the house transaction market. So I think it's been very well received.
Excellent. And look, you mentioned there learning. What would you say has been your biggest learning as a business owner?
I think the biggest learning really has been that, moving into this tech space, it is very complex, and you move from what is in a sort of a very sort of sales and operational type role to something that's very engineering led, and adapting to new technology, how you build technology, the sorts of people that you need to work with, building the product, and then actually working out how to promote it. There's just a whole bunch of steps that you've got to go through in that process to actually make sure that you're actually making the right decisions at the right time and getting value for money in terms of what you're doing. So it's been those sorts of things that have been the most complex for us to wrap our head around.
Excellent. And in terms of advice that you might give to your 18-year-old self, what would you say?
I would say that I think and I think this is good advice for anybody. I think the biggest thing that I've sort of always go back to is sort of don't sweat the small stuff, right? It's really, really easy to get caught up in in the moment of this thing that's going to, obviously with what we've done, there's been trials and tribulations and so many things have gone wrong. And it's very easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. So, the advice I would give myself as an 18-year-old would be say, focus on where you want to get to, realizing that there's going to be many issues along the way. Don't get too caught up in what they are, and just make sure that you're always pushing forward. And there's going to be days where it just requires you to turn up and put one foot in front of the other, and ultimately that will lead you in the right direction. 90% of it showing up, I've found over time.
Excellent. And what would you say is what inspires you? What's an inspiration for you?
I think the thing that really inspires me is people that are prepared to take risks and really make change. And I think you don't see that very often. You see a lot of people that are caught in the industries that they want to do, whether it's sort of real estate or any other industry that people are in. They sort of think there's something that I think should happen or change, but I'm just I'm afraid, and I'm not going to do it because it's easy to keep doing what I'm doing. So, there's lots of people that inspire me, and some people, I'd say that people like Elon Musk in the sort of tech world do some really, really interesting things. He's obviously a very controversial character as well. But also, I mean, there's people you come across in your daily life as well that, aren't as high profile, but they do the same things. And I think that's the thing, that it's that trait that I always find quite inspirational, where somebody said, look, I just see a problem. I'm not prepared to put up with it, and I'm just going to change it. And that is really inspiring for me.
Excellent. No, I think a lot of other business owners will relate exactly to that, and it sounds very much that's what you're doing with your current venture. So
we like to think so, yeah.
Excellent. And look, on that note, as a sort of final thing, are there any offers or any updates of news you'd like to share with our audience?
Absolutely. Look, we're a new product to the market. We think we offer unbelievable value for people in terms of not only people looking to buy property in the UK, but for investors generally, to make sure that they're doing an MOT, if you like, on a property that they're buying, to make sure they're making the right decision. What we're doing today for your subscribers is giving them access to the platform for 30 days, which is not something that we normally do. It's normally $69 a month, and we've sent you across a code that you'll be able to distribute to all of your different subscribers, and they'll be able to log in, use the platform, even without putting any credit card details in, and just get straight access and see what they think about the site. We'd love to hear feedback from people as well.
Fantastic. Look, thank you very much for doing that. Look, thank you very much also for taking part. Really interesting to find out your insights into your business, into business and life in general. And yeah, I think people will definitely be interested in taking up that offer.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Ashley.
Really appreciate it.